Right, I can't do horror. I don't know why. I'm just throwing that out there. The Town That Dreaded Sundown. Nah, can't do it.
Well, it is a horror movie. It's from producer Jason Blum, the man behind Insidious and Sinister, amongst others. Also Ryan Murphy, who's like the guy behind Glee, which might at first seem quite an odd combination, but I think he did a show, American Horror Story, as well. So he does have a bit of a horror background too. So here's the history. Back in 1976, there was a film of the same name, The Town That Dreaded Sundown, which was an early slasher movie about the real-life so-called phantom killer. So he was a murderer, 5 murders in Texarkana on the Texas-Arkansas border back in the 40s, preying on courting couples. So this new film is set in the present day and looks at the town of Texarkana now. So a town still gripped by the legacy of the murders from the 40s, still gripped by the legacy from that original slasher movie in 1976. And the premise is, what would happen now if those murders started all over again? If someone wanted to remind the locals of this violent past, if they thought what was over and had finished many years earlier wasn't actually over. So it's described a little pompously as a meta sequel, I guess because it's got this awareness of the previous film. There's a knowing wink there, and it centres on a character called Jamie Addison Timlin, whose boyfriend is murdered. She's contacted by someone claiming to be the long lost phantom killer. He's back, so she decides to investigate. Now, first up, I'll say this: you didn't see it.
No.
There is a scene with a trombone that will stay with you forever. I'll just put that out there now.
Okay. Trombone alert.
Yes. Also, it does look really good, actually. There's lots of weird angles and fast cuts and really gothic lighting. So it's certainly more visually experimental than some of those other Jason Blum movies. Arguably, at times, could have done with a little less flashiness and a bit more character development. But still, there's an enjoyably grungy feel to the whole thing, and the nods back to that original 70s film are nicely done because the kids go and watch the old film at their local drive-in every year. And it cracks on with a job at a fair old pace as well. I mean, and it's creepy, so it ticks a lot of boxes. Actually, there's some interesting co-stars, Gary Cole and Anthony Anderson, Edward Herrmann from The Lost Boys. I think that was his last role, actually. So a supporting cast full of familiar faces where you go, I know him. What have I seen him in before? I recognise him. It's that kind of a cast. So good things going on. Is it a classic? It's not. It's a solidly reliable, reasonably interesting slasher movie. It never really goes any further than that because the characters are nothing special. And actually, I think what it mainly feels like is a good calling card for the director. The director's a guy called Alfonso Gomez Rejon and has worked a lot on Ryan Murphy TV shows. So he's directed episodes of Glee and he's directed episodes of American Horror Story. And he's already made his next film, because this was made a couple of years ago. So he's already done his next film, which is called Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. That was at Sundance. It's been picked up by Fox, coming out this summer. So he's already a guy on the rise. And you can certainly see from watching The Town That Dreaded Sundown that he's got a creative eye for things. So it's fun, but I think it lacks that final ingredient that really puts it into the big league.
Were you scared?
With the trombone, I was. Definitely.
One scary trombone moment.